do this. Hi, my name is Gus. I'm a creative director, photographer, and filmmaker. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing one of my sporting montage films and giving you some of my tips for shooting really cool, I'm not going to say epic, I'm not going to say cinematic, but really cool sporting montage films. So I would say a sporting montage is a sequence of clips showcasing an athlete in motion, often shot to a really cool soundtrack. They don't always have to have a narrative to them, and often they can be quite abstract, but I think it's a good way for beginner filmmakers to shoot really quick, really fast moving paced athletes in motion. Normally they tend to be between 30 seconds to a minute in length, and they make great social media content. So if you want to stick something on this on your Instagram stories, your IGTV, your TikToks, they're a really great way to put yourself out there. This particular sporting montage video I'm about to share is a little bit longer than what I would normally shoot, but it's part of an ongoing passion project. It's part of an ongoing passion project, but I thought it would be good to share. So anyway, let's roll the film. So my planning for this video really consisted of just a handful of notes on my notes app on my iPhone. Now I wouldn't normally go around this route. I would always advise you to plan your shoots. Even if it's abstract or not, you really want to make sure that your audience stays engaged from start to finish. Now, planning can take the shape of a series of bullet points on a notes app or a notepad to a fully fledged storyboard with shot by shot, or even just a mood board of inspirational clips. But you want to make sure that you have some ideas of what you want to shoot going forward. Aim to give your audience a narrative, a beginning of some sort, a middle and an end. You want to make sure that they leave feeling, satisfied. Play to the strengths of your subject. I've worked with this athlete in the past. I know she's an exceptional track runner. I wanted to make sure that any moves that she was doing, any running, any sort of forms of exercise, that she was comfortable doing and she was experienced doing it. Let them do what they do to their best ability, and don't be afraid to follow their lead. Often it's a case of bouncing ideas back and forth. Do a little bit of R&D, find out what their discipline is. One thing I've learned when shooting these sorts of films is you want to make sure your athlete is in their comfort zone throughout, so that any movements that they're doing, whether it's an explosive movement or whether it's a warm up or warm down, you want to make sure that it's something that they're experienced doing. You don't want it to come across as not genuine, because that will show up in your film and it's not going to look right. You know, you're going to get that I'm not sure feeling. So make sure that they are comfortable and they're happy doing what they're doing. If you can, scout your locations beforehand. A good location will give you, what would a good location give you? Lots of shooting angle options, or lots of angles for shooting. Just one good location can offer you so many different compositions, lighting opportunities, different perspectives. It will allow you to really kind of squeeze as much footage from one place before you move on to your next. Remember, this is run and gun, so you don't always have the time or the luxury to spend thinking about ideas or thinking about different compositions if you've never been to that location before. Ultimately, what you want to do is hero your subject or athlete in the best way possible. If you're a one-man team and you're running and gunning, make sure you keep your locations to a select few, and that the distance between locations A, B, and C, for example, aren't so far apart. Because if you're having to carry around and lugging your gear, especially on your back, things can get heavy really quickly. Consider investing in a roller camera bag. It will save your back a lot of trouble, and it will keep you fresh when going from location to location. Another really important tip is to travel light, especially when you are the sole director, cinematographer, sound man, sound woman, sound person. Limiting your choice of equipment, especially things like lenses, limits indecisiveness. It means you work a lot quicker and it makes you a little bit more creative in getting that shot. Along with my A7R III, I took along my 24-70 2.8 GM, my 55 1.8 Zeiss, my Ronin S gimbal, and a couple of variable ND filters for both those lenses, and an external monitor. And that was it. You want to be able to travel as light as you can without too much compromise, and be able to keep that momentum going throughout the shoot. Music is also key, and finding the right music or soundtrack is probably one of your biggest challenges you will face. Why? Because music is subjective. We all have different musical tastes. What I like might not be what you like. So forget what other people like. Go with your gut, go with what you feel makes sense for your film. Define the pacing of your film. Is it fast-paced tempo, or is it slow and methodical? Does it build and is it rousing, or is it sort of suspense and is it sort of engaging? How you want your audience to feel is important to the narrative. Just little hands, just popping up out of nowhere. So for this film, I wanted something that would build with momentum, something that felt cinematic in sound, if not in visual. I used Artlist to source my soundtrack. I have a subscription with them, which is great, but there are a few others out there, such as Epidemic Sound, for example. In Artlist, you can search by mood, type of video, tempo, amongst other options, and use this to filter down and to help you narrow your choice. Ultimately, you want a soundtrack that will motivate the action on the scene and help move the story forward. And once you have your soundtrack or your music, it really is just a case of dropping that into your video editor of choice, along with your footage, to help craft your narrative. Color adjustments, color grading here and there, title sequence there and there, and that's it. You're good. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.